I would say too many work over the year.
She's at, yeah, I know, well, with the snow too.
We'll get it done quick.
Yes, we will. It'll be 1, 2, 3. Okay, everyone has a copy of the minutes. If you please review them.
I only have one correction on the minutes.
Okay. What is your correction?
I don't think I'm the one that kicked off the meeting last time, am I?
No, you didn't. You could have.
I think that might have got left from the meeting prior
yeah.
to that, when it was just Leo and I
Right.
ran the meeting. So,
Exactly.
well, I believe you started the
I
meeting.
sure did.
That was the only correction I saw.
Short and sweet.
Okay, was there any other corrections?
Make a motion to review.
Make a motion to accept the minutes,
Second, then have
and
discussions.
then discussion, and then obviously it's the, one correction.
Make a motion.
We accept the minutes as corrected?
Okay. Tyler is making a motion to accept the minutes as corrected. Do I hear a second? Leo? Someone wanna second it?
I'll second it.
Okay, Brian. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. We've received, as we had discussed, we were going to reach out to Bergeron to find out what we need, or if it's possible to add on to this building, and what would be necessary in the fire codes and everything else that goes with the addition to the building, because there's a lot of things that we have to find out. If we do add on, does this part here have to come up to code? If we just do a separate building with a hallway, what's entailed with that? So we did receive an agreement back from Bergeron.
Thank you, Mike, for,
Well,
Yes, for taking care of that and getting that to
and
us.
you got the updated rate sheet.
The rate sheet, yes,
Sheet forgot to
yes.
attach, okay.
Yes,
did you make copies for everybody, or?
and that's for everybody know. but I'm gonna
I
do
don't
that.
need a copy.
You don't?
I got it in my-
I don't either.
Okay.
Probably the audience, yeah, other members? Do you wanna talk about it, Mike?
Well, it can.
You okay with that, Rose?
As what, so what he had sent me in an email, I can read it to you. But I didn't convey all of it back to you. If you bear with me for just a moment, I can navigate this thing. He says, we are helping an array of clients with similar situations. The initial consultation, such as this meeting, because I had said that we'd want a meeting up front with the committee, selectmen, such as this meeting, be invoiced hourly according to the 2026 fee schedule, which was that second attachment that I sent. This usually involves a meeting, a tour, or tours of various facilities if necessary, and then we generate a report which will detail conclusions that have been reached, recommendations to consider, and generally try to lay out a path forward. If this can work, we will send an agreement, which we now have. I will do my best to work Effingham into my schedule.
So what do we need? We just need the size of the building?
We need to get in here and start at the very beginning.
Okay.
We can't jump to conclusions, we just did that for the past year.
Mm-hmm.
So what this does, as it says, he's working with other people in the same situation. That First, we get the agreement signed and get it back to them. That's our step forward, which would be an hourly rate based on the rate sheet. And that includes travel time, and that's all broken out on that rate sheet. Walk through and kind of explain what we'd like to do. That's our first step.
Alright,
I'm not sure how far out he is, but,
the sooner we have this in the past,
the sooner we have this in, the sooner we're gonna get into the queue.
and we sign this tonight?
Well, I think we should.
I think we
Sooner
should.
the better.
If we're gonna move forward collectively,
I'm
and
trying to
I
get
really
moving.
feel we need to get going, this is a start. Start with this facility right here.
Okay,
Cause I mean, we need answers to those questions, cause that dictates what we're doing out back.
It dictates our design, so that's what he says, by moving a path forward, he comes up with a conclusion that says you can do this, you can do that. We're, it's a team member, so it's part of assembling this team from project managers, contractors, design people. This is what we've got going on the warrant article for design professionals, and that'll involve other things down the road. But this is the beginning of that. And that's gonna streamline our design process. There's no sense spending money drawing this and drawing that, and then going around in circles.
Exactly.
Because we, like I said, we burned a lot of daylight for the last 12 months.
Yes, we have.
9 months of it.
so from sign this should be the chair role, she's,
Well, I would think,
I think it's gonna go through the board of selectmen.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, the financial
So,
You're
commitments from us.
the guy, it's committee. is-
oh, I agree,
Right.
Committee.
Yeah, so I'll sign it. You got copies, so,
I have copies for everyone.
And that could get emailed, scan it, email it back to them.
I just need the, this one.
Yeah.
And that's the first step in moving in the right direction.
Right,
At least we
because we
get,
have to get it
we get
going.
honest answers and told what we can
And
or
can't do.
could do
Right.
or couldn't do,
Mhm.
because it's all based on our financial considerations.
Right,
It's the bottom line.
So, I don't know if you heard, I
So make
off
a
the cuff
copy.
reached
get
out to
that.
Lester to get price on buildings.
Okay,
On my computer,
He'll send it.
I hit the wrong button. So all I had for information was a link that I text to people, so at the last meeting, I was gonna scan, cause I said I didn't text it over to you. I didn't email it to everybody, I texted it to everybody, or to a few people, so that they could print it at the meeting. And when it got printed, we had something else that was getting printed and it was on the big paper. So my copy was on the huge paper, so I said, it's, still waiting for prices, so I was gonna get you that.
Josh Battles gives you a quote.
Yep,
What we did.
so I was gonna get that to you tonight, that's where I was going with that, you weren't intentionally left out, it was completely,
Oh, I'm not feeling offended.
alright,
I
good.
don't really need that. No, somebody else.
I signed it, you said you're gonna send it, do you want me
Pardon me?
to send a PDF, or are you gonna,
I think you should sign it and send it from this office.
Yes.
okay,
Email it out of this office. I know it's
Scan
coming
it.
to me, even though I gave them
Got it,
Katie's
got it.
email address.
Got
But, Sean and I go back like 40 years, so.
I probably should have done, before I signed it, I mean, I know the select board has the authority to sign it, but we should probably have everybody's input on it before I sign it. Agreement? Everybody
I
agree?
think I think we
Wow.
pretty much already agreed.
yeah,
Does everybody agree?
Is it?
right.
We could vote on
We
it.
agree?
Yeah, we should.
We should,
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
Make a motion to accept the, agreement with
The
Sean
agreement.
Bergeron? Yes.
To enter into a
Professional
contract
services.
agreement with Bergeron Technical Services, LLC.
Make a motion.
Second.
Who's that, Chris?
Shorty, Chris.
Get the Tyler chair today, sitting on the floor.
He looks much bigger in that chair than you do, I'm sorry.
It's a weird thing, but he is much bigger.
Oh, man.
Any discussion on it? Everyone,
Everybody know who this
All in
company
favor?
is?
everyone knows,
Is he a civil engineer or?
No,
structural?
no, he's not an engineer at all. He's a code enforcement, consultant, sprinkler, gets projects through planning boards, things like that. He's a code guy. He's not an engineer or design professional. You're not gonna get that out of an engineer, what we're looking for code considerations, to be able to design something to code, and then go from there.
The town doesn't have building codes.
No,
So
Correct.
No, but
The state
state-
I
does.
know you're gonna say, first thing you're gonna say, state does.
Yep,
But if we don't have building codes, we don't have to go by the state code.
not correct.
That's how I got it from the state. The sprinkler, we don't have town water, we
no,
don't
we
have,
don't.
so how are we gonna have supply the sprinkler? We don't have to have it.
We may not, depending, so he's gonna tell us whether or not, what design we can go with. If it can be attached or not attached. If it's not attached, we already know, we don't have, roughly, we don't have to have sprinklers, as long as we stay underneath the square footage. But this,
Square footage
If
of
you
this
gotta-
building would include,
Right,
Firewall between them, you don't have to have it. That's just from what I read,
right,
not an engineer either,
and that's what he's basically gonna tell us.
you know. So. I haven't read this whole thing, so I don't know, but. If you don't have building codes, don't have town water, then from what I got from the state, you don't need to put in sprinkler system. That's what I got from state.
Yeah.
Don't have that in writing or anything.
yeah. So we don't have building codes, we can't do, like, we can't hire a code enforcement officer and enforce building codes. But this is a public building, so any of that, all of that other stuff gets circumvented because it's a public meeting space, it's a public building, so you're not going by the fact that the town doesn't have building codes, it's the recommendation from the government that we have to, because it's a public space. Public buildings are exempt, it's just like, ADA compliance. Because it's a public, you don't have to have ADA compliance in your house, we do because we're a public building.
If I may,
sure,
Lawrence, this would give us the answers
In writing.
in writing officially. Sean was head of the state code council for, I think, 6 or 7 years. His associate sits on the board of engineers with the state of New Hampshire. So when he comes through and walks through and we explain to him what we'd like to do, his recommendation would pretty much be gospel for what we can, or what we could do, in an effort to try to save some money. So rather than going around the barn 4 or 5 more times like we have all the last 9 months, this would solve it once and for all. Unless somebody from the state comes in here and says, you can do this and you can do that. This is our alternative to that. I can't speak to it any more than that. You can say what you want, but
Well, what we need to do, we need to take one building and do it. And take the next building and do it, not jump around like we've been doing and we ain't getting anything done.
Right, so we're
So if
focused,
we had one building done, then he could tell us what we needed to put in that building.
in my opinion, until we hire somebody that can tell us what fire code is and whether or not it has to be attached or separate or whatever, we're not even focusing on this. So to your point about focusing on buildings, so we obviously at our last building committee meeting, these gentlemen had to leave and the fire department for an emergency call. So we will have a preliminary design for the remodel tonight. We've already started getting pricing for the apparatus bay section, so we can focus on that until we get answers for this. And until, for me, just speaking
Right.
for me, until we have answers about codes and what we can and can't have back here, we shouldn't focus any attention on what we're gonna build here.
On
we
hold.
should concentrate on the,
Well, if we don't have the building, what's this guy gonna tell us?
He's gonna tell us what we can have for a
Yeah,
building.
but we gotta have a building,
No,
we gotta say we're gonna put up a 10 by 10 out there, we're gonna put up a 60 by.
it's not just that. It can it be attached without updating this? He can answer that question. Because in my opinion only, the best case scenario for us, instead of buying 4 walls, we're only buying 3 walls and a roof. And that's because we already have a wall here.
Right,
But he may say, in order to do that, this has to come up to current code. That's an additional cost. If that's the case, then we put a breezeway in between, and we have a self-standing building back there. But until he makes that call, until we get that professional services and those answers, we don't know what we can build back there. So we can't say, we're not gonna go through all this and then have him say, yep, you can do that, but it's gonna cost you this because of this. I would be better served for him to come to look at the space that we have. It was part of it, I think you said that, and say, these are your possibilities. You can blow out through this wall. This counts as a firewall, or it doesn't count as a firewall. You could do with a breezeway. That breezeway has to be 20 feet, it could be 10 feet, it could be a foot. We don't know the answers to those questions. He can get those answers before we can design and focus on what we're gonna build up here.
Lawrence, to your point, that we already went through an exercise of a building out there. And then we scaled it back because we knew that we would have to sprinkle that unless we got to a certain capacity. But when we were doing that, we ran into, okay, we got $30,000+ worth of leach field to put in, because we weren't able to tie it into here because it sat over there. And so part of this whole exercise is trying to do due diligence with all our tax dollars that we've been talking about from day one when this committee was formed. Is that if we can add on to this building, that means we can take power from this building and extend it into that section. We've got septic lines that are already taking care of that modular. Now we can easily tie that in. I'm just saying that easily. I mean, you're a licensed installer and so am I. And our best estimation, we should be able to do that. Okay? So, and if we can add onto this building by 30 feet, by the width of this feet, or the width of whatever the hell it is.
Existing building.
You know, get our capacity down and not have to sprinkle it, and we've already got power here, we've already got a septic, we're saving money. And we're looking a little bit smarter than when we started in the beginning, you know, if we can come out of this as best as possible. And the whole part of that is that if we can add on this, we do this project, all these projects in phases. You know, get the apparatus building built, we talked about that, do the renovation within the existing firehouse number 2, and then add on to this so that people aren't juggling and we're trying to deal with putting Tyler and his police guys somewhere like in Station 1. You know, we kicked that can around for quite a while, if I remember right, about a couple months worth of kicking it around. So it's just, we're not there yet anyway. And by bringing somebody in that does this for a living, he's done a pile of projects all over, and he's done projects in Alaska and other places as well. Right through North Conway, his North Conway office, he's out on East Main Street. So this is a chance to finally get the cobwebs out of the way and know what we can do. And it may be a separate building, but I think all in all, from my building experience for 45+ years, that if we can add on to this, we're gonna save some money. At least in septic, electrical, and a few other things. So I think we should just proceed with that. And, you know, we're gonna spend some money to do that, but we're not gonna spend tens of thousands of dollars. Like if we were hiring some architectural firm, i.e. like the library, that didn't come out loud, did it? But, you know, that's a lot of dough.
Yeah, you get the response.
Got some response? Yeah,
so,
they had a check for him.
So we're gonna be concentrating more right now on the renovation.
And the
We have to
apparatus.
wait for Bergeron to come and let us know from that.
I would guess he would be a minimum of a month away, maybe more.
I think I saw April something.
He's scheduling
Yeah, I
in
thought I
March,
saw
or is it
something.
April? Pardon me.
Yeah,
I thought it was April,
he's scheduled through March, so it would be April, sorry.
right.
So if he gives us a price, how long is that price good for?
Well, he gave us a rate sheet, and if you
A rate,
read,
yeah.
I haven't read.
okay, but if you do, so what it would be is, as I stated, it would be an initial meeting, which is done on an hourly rate, based on the rate sheet. I don't know if they handed you the rate sheet out.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's-
the lead guy is $200 an hour, project manager $185, and there's 50% for transportation of that rate, plus 70 cents a mile, if I can remember, if I read it right. So there's a cost associated with that, but it's not, they're not dilly-dallying around, they're coming in and doing the work. And I think they were looking for $1,000 retainer to
Yes.
start with.
Yes,
Which I don't think that's unreasonable
No.
to secure a position. They're a busy company. I think he's got 9 people in his office going all the time.
So how long will it take?
For him to turn that around, I cannot answer that.
I was just
I
curious.
can't imagine, I mean, if he's gotta come and look at this space, they'll probably snap some pictures, take some measurements.
right,
Ask questions.
Ask
questions.
Just sit down with this group
Right.
of people.
As long as we don't beat them up too bad, we could keep that, I would think, within an hour.
I would think so.
Maybe
His initial consultation,
Yeah.
I would give it 2.
A worst case.
So you can be safe.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, it's a business.
Yeah,
yeah,
So, but for him to turn that around, it could be 30 days, it could be more, it could be less, it depends on where we are in his workload. But I'm looking, it's a team member as far as moving forward. Once we have him on board, call up and ask questions, get some
Right.
advice, and then it incorporates into design. And then we're only designing, following that path forward. Like you said, it'll establish that path moving forward. And this is what they do for a living. They've done it very successfully for a long time.
Can I ask?
so, sure, you,
John, you at one point had mentioned maybe some grants you were gonna look into.
So we've engaged a grant writer, a professional grant writer, to help us out with that. He's gonna be helping us with some of the other fire department grants we do every year. But, we've also asked him to find out what's out there. Even if it's small stuff for, not the whole building, but, maybe there's a grant to put in the furnace. One piece of it. So we've engaged with him to identify the grants.
so,
Any idea how long this might take, John? What time frame?
Who knows, it depends on the grant, it depends on, when the grant opens and closes. Some of them do it quarterly, some of them do it once a year, it all depends on that stuff. I mean, as soon as we have the grants identified, we can start putting in applications. The only thing we might run into for trouble is without having the project approved. Obviously, they're not gonna give us a grant for a furnace for a building that's not approved yet,
Right.
you know what I mean? But,
right,
one of the other big things we need to focus on, and my wife's been hammering this at me, justifiably
Did
so,
you draw any good, Chris?
is, yep,
Before I cut you all off, we need to take a vote on this.
yes, we do, with that,
That, we had a
because
first,
we finished the discussion, I think, as far as the Bergeron goes, correct?
yes,
Yes.
so take a vote.
So, all in favor?
Aye.
aye,
Alright,
Right, sorry.
We already had the discussion
all
portion.
opposed.
Oh, any opposed? Sorry, I just heard
Procedure,
all
procedure.
ayes.
I'm just gonna stand up.
Are you going to oppose, Chris?
No, I said aye, so.
Okay,
Right, go ahead.
okay.
So
Now I'm
on
sorry.
grant writing and funding, so my wife reminded me several times, so I'm bringing it here tonight, is congressional money. So you can get congressional, it's not like matching grants, it's congressional money that's earmarked for certain projects. And we just happen to be in one of those projects, and that's public safety. So we've already missed the congressional benchmarks for 2026, which is, I suppose, it's a win-win for us. It's a good thing that we've postponed this to 27. So we will be asking for and applying for those congressional monies before we get to budget season, but after we have dollar figures and estimates, then we can start asking these congressional money. Now, it's probably not gonna do us much good for the building here, but under public safety, the apparatus building, the renovation for the, and I would think we would qualify, we would score high on the qualifying sheet because of the fact that our condition of our current police station. The conversations that have been somewhat kind of said quietly, whatever, without, showing our hand too much, our evidence and things like that, and the way we secure all of that stuff. That puts us, at the top of the list, so. And congressional money is, so all of our members of Congress and our senators and things like that, they are earmarked, like right now, I know that, this is it. I'm trying to go off of memory 2 nights ago watching WMUR, but like Chris Pappas' office, he was given like $300,000 of congressional money that's benchmarked for projects in the state of New Hampshire, within his district, whatever. So there's always congressional money. It's been spoken for this year, but we should definitely, and we will look for that for
For
next year.
And there is nothing under municipal anywhere.
Well, it's just the justification for, I mean, if it became like a shelter, then you can use that. And this possibly could, so we will be doing that, but
Yeah, John, yeah.
you have to meet, it's, their safety, they're basically, they focus on safety and infrastructure repairs and, you know, not just municipal
Well, I would
buildings.
think where we are voting might make a difference.
No, because we have a good plan now that is adequate when it comes to that. We really do,
At least for the shelter, yeah.
and for voting.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So we'll get this off tomorrow from the office. Make sure
You're gonna
that-
drop that off the
I will
table?
drop it off, yes,
You'll send a cover letter with that?
yes.
Send a cover letter, okay, thank you.
And let's see. All right, how about floor plan? Okay,
So while he's doing that, I would
Yes.
like to add to the proposals, and don't let me forget to get you, does anybody have their copy of the
of what?
Lester building?
I
You get
do.
that packet?
I do.
So Mike can peruse that.
Sure.
So, what it excludes, so I took that back sheet, which is a check mark, which gets the exclusions. And I said, okay, let's check these boxes. I went back and met with Josh and said, can you just give me estimates? He can't give me estimates on dirt work because we still don't know exactly where it's gonna be. We haven't finalized that discussion, where the building would potentially sit. So it was concrete for the building, blown in insulation, and the 3 overhead doors. Lester doesn't provide overhead doors. They do the windows, they do the man doors, but they don't do the overhead doors.
Right.
So he's giving me 3 prices on the doors, or, yeah. Pricing on 3 doors, the blown in insulation in the ceiling, because it includes 6-inch insulation in the walls. The walls are finished on the inside, the ceiling is finished on the inside. And then obviously we would have to price out electrical and any plumbing that would have to go in. But it does include essentially, this is what I would have to text you, Mike, but this is for discussion purposes, this is a Lester building in Milton, that was done last year, and that's what it would look like on the inside.
Where in Milton was that? Whereabouts is that?
I don't.
On 125?
I think
Yeah,
so.
right, well, yeah, but I'm just curious where the building is, one of my sons lives in Milton, so.
I think it's right next to, before you go into hit the pond, when you're going north, south,
Yeah,
right hand side.
Yeah,
so, yeah, that's similar to what was built at, Pine River Santa Gravel. That's what they did, Josh was in there, they
Yeah,
skinned the whole inside, skinned the ceiling out.
yeah, that when you get to the Lester building, that's how it
Yeah.
comes, that's what it looks like, that's
Okay.
not, that's extra, and that's what Wayne's coating on there, well, it should be
Yeah,
to you.
so the only thing on that is you get bigger doors, so you use jack shafts and side mount operators and not top operators.
Yeah, what, to get the ceiling height, this is essentially what they quoted.
Oh, really?
14 foot
16 foot
doors,
sidewalls?
14-foot doors. I
With a
think
top
that's
mount
14.
operator?
Again, this isn't the exact building,
Yeah.
it just gives you an idea of what it would look like.
Okay. Nothing worse than a door that don't work. Okay, I'll leave it at that.
Right,
The difference being is that's a residential style operator as opposed to a jack shaft
No.
operator that's mounted on the
again,
side.
this isn't the building, this is just a visual
Yeah,
aid
I
to
gotcha.
say, this is what the walls look like, this is what the ceiling looks like.
So they gave you a number on the doors?
No, he hasn't given me a number on
Alright.
doors yet, I
Yeah,
went back,
14.
doors, concrete and insulation, I'm still waiting
So,
for pricing.
I have numbers for those, but they're old.
And again, this was just a,
significant price difference.
I was sitting at home, whatever that holiday was, President's Day. And I went on Lester's website, and you put in your dimensions, and you can kind of build the structure, and then you hit submit. And you put the zip code in, you submit it, and by 1 o'clock the next day, I had that quote that you see in your hands.
So So this went to Josh when you entered all your information for this.
It went to Lester's and then, yes, it goes to
And then
Josh
goes
because
to-
he's the
because
local
distributor.
distributor.
Need to see it.
Another writing's pretty small.
I don't think we can put that door off the back, can we? Why not? Isn't that where the generator's sitting? Currently. We're not gonna move the generator again.
No.
No.
Should not have to move the generator.
But there is enough room for you to make a walkway next to the generator.
Yeah, there is room.
We also have that pad that's out back currently. So,
That's a big conference room.
But that-
So the idea of that is it's gonna take the conference room, the day room, the
I was
EOC,
just gonna
training
say,
room.
training room
That's gonna be a multi-purpose room for pretty much
for both.
anything we need to do. We have to have trainings, great. We have a nice large room for training room. We have a nice large room for hosting like Fire 1, Fire 2, where I think the minimum is what? 16?
So where's the door, the security door for not to access the police?
So, again, and I haven't talked with Tyler yet, but
Cause you guys have to have it secured, you can't have it
Right.
access.
It would likely be the individual rooms would be
Yeah.
secure, so to get into the
Right,
patrol room,
wait,
you need to like swipe a badge to get through the door.
Right,
It wouldn't necessarily be like a secure hallway, just the room itself would be secure.
So is that the Sally port on the upper right-hand corner?
Yes.
So that's utilizing one of the overhead door
Correct,
mechanisms?
yeah.
Very good, I like
it
that.
also
Which the chief
allows
didn't know
plenty of
about.
room for a tow truck.
the Chuck did know.
Oh, yeah, no, you
Just
get
like
good
Tyler wanted.
access, and it doesn't create a cluster,
Nope.
like it would on the outside, other side there. So then we don't have to do any additional roof alterations.
Roof alterations, you have to build a larger pad, it's all there already.
Yeah. Okay, and you've got all the bathrooms,
the
on the
bathroom
is-
septic tank side,
That is as close to where they currently are
good,
roughly as I could get them. Now,
okay,
I'll leave the ADA stuff to your son.
Yep.
That's why there's a little blurb in there that says, can we divide the current bathroom into two?
Can you? No,
Well,
no, 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 by all means.
I heard your voice first, go.
So in a conversation with the chief, so this is, I'm gonna call a spade, I think everybody knows that's how I roll, right? So they just, has the police department really put any input into this yet?
No.
So,
Because Tyler's been on vacation,
Yeah,
so
right.
that's why, and I.
so in conversations, based on our conversation at the end of the meeting in the hallway, and then me talking to the chief, he liked the idea of obviously the Sallyport location. And at any time you wanna jump in, please do. In one of the conversations I suggested, which I like, is the egress out the side. So that gives the opportunity for privacy. And one of the main goals or purposes of that is if you had to interview a victim.
Yep.
So having said that, I
Nothing to
don't.
say that you can't change where the door is.
Right, so I would suggest where it says police interview is have that door off the patrol room, not off the hallway. And the reason why is if the general public is in the entrance way for fire business, getting a fire permit or whatever, they can remain quiet.
right,
So there's a little bit of a kind of caveat with that with the PD side. So having the interview room where it is right now, it does give a clear shot out. And I understand the privacy portion, which I agree with, but also letting them just head out through the patrol room if we've got evidence from a current case on our desk, which it's never there long because it should be moved into evidence. But if it is there for the current case we're working on, if we're reviewing it for the case that we're trying to interview somebody for, all of our paperwork, all the privacy security stuff that we have in the patrol room, they're now gonna end up having to weave in and out through our desks and anything else that we have in that patrol room. So the patrol room's not always secure in that manner for privacy and safety issues.
The other thought, so with the whole thing with like fire permits, stuff like that, the thought with that is, if you're getting a fire permit, stuff like that, you're gonna be in the lobby. With having the crew room, the station, the crew room, radio room, stuff like that, you can do that through that window.
And I get your point, and I use that, I
Yeah, sure.
kinda misspoke, what I'm gonna say is, you guys right there may not be privy to anything that they're having to do. So that that privacy, there we go. Could pertain to members of the fire department, if you have a victim that's coming in, that is everybody, right? I mean, obviously, if there was EMS, God forbid, involved, whatever. So maybe we just, and I know you worked very diligently, but for me, let's just say you flip-flopped and that interview room, I don't know, what do you?
Yeah.
The other place I had the interview room, and it was one of those things where it's a catch-22, is I had the patrol room spaced out to this wall right here. And the interview room was somewhere in this area, but the problem is it ends up cutting off access to everything else. Because where the evidence room is and the Sally Port entrance, it didn't work very well. That's not saying that I can't try and rework it a little bit more, but again, I wanted to get input from the other side of public safety before anything, but couldn't really do much with it, cause he was on
The
vacation.
hard rectangle shape makes it tough to
Yeah,
I got a question.
position.
sure,
On, conference room,
the whole, yeah,
how many square footage is that?
it's 21 foot 4 inches by 25 feet.
So how many people you can put in there?
Honestly, off the top of my head, I couldn't give you a number off the top of my head.
At least 30.
But
30 to 35 would be my.
So why don't you strike that?
I'm looking at
If
the
you're gonna have
maximum
some-
occupancy thing behind you.
How many meetings do you have with 30 people?
so it's not how many we have currently.
JT,
We don't, because we don't have a space,
do you anticipate having meetings with 30?
100%.
So,
the more,
let me finish. So with this building back here, could you use that as an additional conference down the road?
It's tough having it off-site because like if we're gonna do a fire training, we're gonna come here for it. We gotta bring the trucks, so if it's the winter time, the trucks have to idle outside for the training. We have to move the equipment here, obviously, bring it with us, so if we get a call, we're all here, we can take it. and
So
go
it's
a call.
merging with other towns coming in.
It's tough, yeah, for us to do our training here, because we'd have to bring the trucks and everything else, let them idle outside, you know, the waste of driving across town. And we're at that point where it's dead space in the building, you know, we've got the rooms adequate size for everything else. So,
I would just see if you could put the, interview room in that area.
the problem is that access to it.
Right.
yeah.
Can't go
This is what we went round and round with
Yes.
trying to maneuver these rooms and get them in a way that everything worked, and we got to the point with like the secure hallway thing, it's almost not possible with this building
I
right now.
just don't see why, pardon me if I block anybody's view. If you slid this down here to meet this, and then the Sally Port door was here, stick the interview room up in this corner, so you have egress from here.
Yep.
With a secure door that goes into the patrol room, so they're not walking through the patrol room. If they wanna interview somebody, they can come around here,
Go right
then they
into
can
the-
walk them
right.
out if they have to out of there. But move this here, this all slides down, that door right there moves to here, that door right there moves to here, and then they're got egress there.
With the dimensions
you
of the
follow?
room, with the dimensions of the room and the size of the doors you have to have, it wasn't big enough. So the evidence room is 9 foot in the shorter dimension, which is the side the door is on.
Tyler, it's big enough, I'm just telling you to move them, you're flip flopping them.
No, I
You're
know
not
what I'm saying
changing
is,
the dimensions.
so that interview room is 7 foot, and I tried to get it 7 by 7. Issue with the freaking computer. That door is 36 inches wide, which is a common commercial door. In order to get that door, 7 plus 3 is 10. That evidence room is 9 feet wide. There isn't enough room to put the door and like moving the door around just to get it to where it has to be. The only option would be you could try and make a small hallway. I just don't see it happening.
Now,
very-
why would you need, I'm losing you here, bud. So, you're saying that door couldn't be in that wall?
No, So if you were to put the.
So what if that door was in that wall? Because this whole thing slides down, and this square right here goes into that corner. It's the exact same dimensions,
Right,
You're saying put it up in the top right-hand corner.
correct?
so that doorway
So
coming in.
that door
goes
right there is purely for privacy purposes, if somebody wanted to come in and the PD was meeting somebody. This right here goes into that corner, exact same square footage, and just moving what wall the door comes into. That right there could come out of this wall, because it's now up here.
So you're saying
That
have
door
the,
right
have the
there could be
interview
down
room be
here.
effectively a hallway? kind of thing.
What?
Have the interview room be the
You
entrance?
would create that space, yes.
Cause the only purpose of that, in a conversation that I had with the chief, obviously the sergeant wasn't part of that conversation, is for privacy, for bringing people to come in off the street without, in the eye of everybody
And the
else.
evidence room could slide down to meet the interview, that makes sense, so they'd above each other. With the door coming down into the patrol room.
So how are you
And the
gonna
whole
keep
thing
the,
closet for-
how are you,
Right,
how are you gonna keep the snow comes off that end, right? That's like,
Correct.
so how do you, in the wintertime, how do you keep that clean?
I think you'd have to build some sort of a canopy for the length of the building, you know, lag yak into the block work and extend a sheet metal roof system that protect when any snow falling off falls on that.
Is there a possibility for the interviews to go through the Sally Port?
Well,
You don't, you wouldn't want that.
I'm asking, is that,
I'm saying for chain of evidence stuff.
I'm asking,
I'd like to take it back. I'm just curious how, cause JT, correct me if I'm wrong, after the last meeting, I was aware that I was gonna be here for this week's. I watch them on YouTube every week. I'm just still trying to figure out why I stopped in to ask where we were with the project. I got told nowhere. This was originally a PD project. Now the PD's jammed into one little square. Fire's got everything lined out on the other side, perfectly oriented. There's a giant conference room. And now we're trying to puzzle piece the PD into just what's left in that square. When you have my number, I mean, you sent it to me at 1 o'clock yesterday. As a 24-hour notice, hey, is this good? Cool. I mean, I had no time to review it.
Well, that's
I had
when
no
this
time to
was
discuss it.
Yeah, that's literally, that was within
I
10
would-
minutes of me finishing it and I sent it off to the chief.
I was on all week last week. I haven't been gone.
I wasn't
made it
aware that you
aware.
were involved with it.
I made it aware that I was here. Yeah, I mean, you knew chief was gonna be gone,
I didn't
so I'm the
actually.
next one to reach out to. So I'm trying to figure out why we're trying to puzzle piece everything into just what we can jam it into that little square. Rather than, I know it was mentioned by the chief last week, or last meeting. Why isn't it just split 40-40? Fire designs their side, PD designs their side as we need fit, we move on.
I'm assuming the remaining 20% is public access.
I would think so.
He was saying 40 foot by 40 foot.
alright, so I think it's a start, but I think we need you and the chief
Yeah, we need the
to
chiefs.
comment on that,
Yes,
that side.
What is the large room in the upper left?
Conference.
conference room.
Conference room, EOC, training room, day room, basically it's a
That
multi-use
would be
space
shared
for.
by.
And that is a shared room.
Yes.
That would be
That's
shared.
not like us, that,
No.
you know, that would be if you guys have a training or a meeting, obviously it's everybody's room.
Yeah. And not only that, just also, like, we're not gonna sit, like, don't get me wrong, I get what you're saying, where fire's all lined up at the bottom, police are all up on the top and they're shoved into one corner. But then again, the bathrooms and the kitchen are all stuffed in up where we have, like, I can't move those. Those are stuffed where they have to
This
be
has
because
to
of where the
stay
plumbing
there.
is. I can't move it.
Yeah, Tyler, to your point, that's correct, but to Sergeant's point, you know, I'm gonna weigh in on this, we're proposing a 50 by 60 plus or minus building. For the amount of money in that square footage to increase that enough to give you enough for training room would really go a long ways to making this building more efficient for both fire and police department. Just throwing that out there.
I don't have any issue with making the apparatus
Yeah, take a truck out if you
I
need to
mean, the
have a
scale
certain
of
people.
economy to,
That's what we do right now, but that,
you don't even have to take a truck out, to add another 10, 15, or 20 feet, another bay, on however it's laid out.
Mhm.
The scale of economy to add that compared to the pain in the ass, in plain English, that this creates for the PD, it would be better, this is long-term, they're all long-term, so, you know, it's just another option to think about.
You could
We should not
reduce,
stuff all these eggs in this one little basket,
To-
when you
to-
have another facility to be able to do that.
To that point, the one caveat to the conference room was any of the designs that we've seen where the police chief and the PD has been, that they've been part of, they've included in their space, training and conference space. So if that was a multi-space, so that would accommodate both agencies. Just saying.
That is-
I
that is-
agree.
that
Which
is-
it does.
I agree with what
It
you're
does
saying.
now, but I think what I'm hearing is that, you know, PD's looking for a little more square footage of their own as opposed to being shared.
And I wouldn't even argue that it's necessarily the square footage exactly, but it's just the space that we're being given to actually work. Because having the evidence room ideally off the Sally port in the evidence secure manner, especially where we're working on getting a third person. I mean, we have a PT test tomorrow, hopefully we can get somebody in. Having the evidence room attached to the Sally port is actually best, because then we can have one-way lockers, because tracking of the evidence, I'm the only one with I should be the only one that has access to the evidence room for the tracking purposes. So if we seize a vehicle, or we have evidence, pull your car in, or the car that we're searching into the Sally port, any evidence goes into a one-way locker, so they open it, the officer sets it in there, they close it, I'm the only one that has access to the evidence room, I go in there, I pull it out on the other side, and now it's there. So, evidence aspect for tracking, safety and security, it would keep it all there. That
And
way we're not
realistically,
bringing it in the patrol room.
That's an easy flip,
Right,
So,
cause you're just gonna
you
go
know, slide
there
those
to
two
there.
over, slide the patrol room and the interview room down, just flop them, you know?
they
you could
can,
even
need
theoretically
to get the
take, I have.
Yeah.
that right here.
police
So,
department.
and there could be some, you know, there could be some egress issues in this whole structure too, which would really put a big flag in with what you have. So I'm gonna back up a little bit, the last time we had a meeting, I know Tyler was here,
yes,
I
he
know
was.
it's not now, but we talked about adding the Sally Port outbound of the building. Where the fire forestry truck currently pulls into, to create that space, which freed up a lot of square footage overall and made it more useful. So.
But it did.
The other problem is, I mean, you've got people that don't do this, trying to do this.
Oh, fully
You know what I mean?
understand, yeah,
We're trying to stuff all this stuff in and figure it out in our heads to make it work, and there's a million different ways that this can get configured, and who knows which one's the right one.
but it's a
You know.
start. So
Start,
yeah.
part of, we'll jump back where we started, with Sean Bergeron coming in, or somebody from his office could certainly look at this and be a part of this conversation. He's done enough apparatus buildings and police stations and courthouses and things like that too. So, he may have some opinion on that. So you bring in another
100%.
knowledgeable individual who's been down the road many, many times that could possibly help with this before it goes to design too far. Again, you know.
Right,
Well, I think the first thing right off the bat, you gotta get Brian and Tyler involved and have their say into that design.
Yeah.
Where the offices should be and all that, so you make the good points and everything, yeah, so update this,
We're not ready to go to drawing yet.
no, we need it updated.
I was not expecting to call Lee tomorrow and tell him
No.
this, what are you doing in 2
No.
months?
And not to throw shade at anybody will
No,
prevent
it's good
that,
work.
but it just scheduling wise, just seems like it's all come into play that it hasn't worked out. Tyler will be back, you're not leaving for
He's back
vacation, are you?
tonight, I'm not anytime soon.
So, it sounds like we need to
This week.
sit down, not necessarily in this forum right here, where we do this, and the next meeting have something
have something, yeah.
that you all agree on.
I mean,
Aesthetic.
I think we have the rooms, I think the rooms are sized correctly, now it's just the puzzle, the
Where-
Jenga game, you know, where does everything fit?
like I told you
And
last
thank
week, I
you for
stuck the
putting the
Jenga.
plumbing on the plumbing wall.
Yeah.
That's gonna make all the plumbing on the
All the
plumbing
plumbing
side,
on the one,
it makes everything a lot simpler.
Yeah.
The only
Yes.
thing is where the water comes in is the only other thing.
Well, that's on the other side,
That's easy to fix.
that's easy to do. Come in overhead and go down an inside wall.
Which they currently don't.
And the cost saving was one of the reasons why the utilized space, so I mean, we literally we're overhead door ready. And we're just sectioning that off, we're petitioning that
Oh, yeah.
off. Egress for tow trucks and things like
Oh,
that,
it's
right
plenty
out.
of room.
And
Oh.
then saving the money of that, and then that changes potentially, that could have interrupted the apparatus bay layout, the angle that it sets.
Right.
Having that
That piece
additional
sticking
piece sticking
out.
out.
Right,
So, you know, Tyler was
Drainage.
good with that part of it,
Okay,
and then it
was.
was just designing
Yes.
off and that,
right, I didn't realize
Yeah.
he was good with that change, cause he was all hyped up about
yeah.
adding on, he was very happy.
Because he wanted the salad port, and then when we started saying that,
Yeah.
he was, you know, so he was good with that, it's just the layout beyond
Okay.
that, so.
Alright, I'm caught up,
see what happens when you miss a meeting?
yeah, you know,
The other,
Okay,
the other plans I have,
yes,
so
So we're moving on to the
we're
next one.
moving on to the next one, I don't think is there any other questions, or, yes, Linda?
There was just something on here, it
Which
says a fire station site visit. Has that happened?
Okay, the fire station site visit, that was you, right?
Chris and Heidi.
Chris
Oh, yeah,
Day
we
and,
went out
and Heidi went down there, she should have specified that it was there. They went to
before that.
see
So,
and get an idea of what
Oh,
was
you went
going
again?
on, so that's what that fire station site visit was.
So what did we learn? Have we missed that or?
Well, that there were a lack of floor drains, everything there is what they came back and said they noticed. Just going there and looking at the building and,
the committee didn't do a site,
no,
The
the
committee
committee
didn't, it
didn't,
was-
just Chris and his wife.
Is the committee planning on like low water pressure? Have they talked about that or we haven't, or we have?
We haven't talked about any of the
Okay.
stuff here.
But we are going to in the sometime.
Well, at some point, we're gonna have to, that'll all have to be addressed as we do
is there
the,
low water pressure there?
Real quick, Chris and I actually met again and talked about this. The low water pressure was not, washing trucks and stuff like that. We had talked specifically about like a hose washing device that we can run the fire hose
Oh,
through to
right,
wash it.
okay.
Or like a vehicle undercarriage wash. We don't have the pressure to accommodate that. We have plenty of
So
pressure
it's-
for the sinks and for washing trucks and stuff like that. It's just something high pressure like that to wash the hose. We don't have residual pressure. We need some kind of a pressure washer.
Okay, and what about lack of floor drains?
So as it stands, we have no floor drains, which means
We
you can't
have
wash the
never had
trucks
them.
can't
inside.
wash them inside.
Not in Effingham, no. So, you know, the trucks are dirty because we can't wash them. We can't pull them out on the pad and wash them when it's this cold because then the pad freezes and turns into a skating rink. So my suggestion, and again, it's part of the new building and the plan and figuring out what we can and can't do. I would do a pit in the new apparatus building. And when I say a pit, basically it would look like a floor drain in a concrete floor, but there's no actual drain to the outside. So the water would naturally evaporate. And if we do like a radiant floor system, that would encourage that evaporation, but it would allow us to wash the trucks inside, the water's got somewhere to go.
It's not gonna
Does that
fly.
make sense?
We put drains in, we're gonna drain into the exterior with an oil separator.
Right,
And
Or
I
the
would highly
moisture and
suggest,
everything else.
I would highly, I mean, we did Conway Fire Station, those are eco drains, they're expensive. The building I did for Beckwith Builders, we got three bays, so we back trucks in all covered with snow, you come in the next morning, it's all melted off, the floor is dry, cause it's got radiant, and it's safe. And all those floors pitched to the eco drain system.
And the other
To a drain
factor-
System to a catch basin with an oil separator.
The other factor with
And we
where we
send
are
it out to
now,
the state on the side of the road afterwards.
the other factor with where we are now versus the new building, you know, now if we get even the snow drip, where the offices sit, the water is running up against that and sitting against the wood and rotting the wood, even just with snow drip, never mind trying to wash a truck inside, we're not gonna have offices in the new building. So we can create, you know, a water catch, or, you know, even just having the,
Pitch
Having
the
it
floor and you leave a
is gonna help
curve, when you
with
pour your concrete walls, you don't bring your plates all the way down to the floor. You
Exactly.
Put a 12-inch curb wall. You know,
so I mean, there's
your foundation wall up, build it.
ways to accomplish
And
that.
then you put perimeter insulation around, put radiant heat in it. it's a no-brainer, and there's nothing mechanical much to radiant heating.
Right.
You know what, cooling the building, i.e. you'll cool this building, but you're not
Right,
gonna
but not
cool
the
the
apparatus.
apparatus.
Right.
What keeps it pretty simple.
There's ways,
Upfront
yeah, there's ways
costs
to
to all of
accomplish it.
this, but the longevity is a long time.
Right.
None of us in this room, including yourself, will never have to worry about that.
That's true.
I just say it because he looks a lot younger than the rest of us.
And I know, I mean,
Oh,
granted, they're not,
Oh, well, yes,
Yes,
that's true, I'm
look.
so sorry. Yeah.
they're not brand new buildings, obviously, but, you know, Wakefield Fire, for example, the Barrington Public Safety Building, they were able to do that kind of trench that doesn't have a drain in it.
And drained right down into it.
Granted, that was a few years ago, so things change. Maybe that's not acceptable now and it was back then, but it has been done. Maybe it could be done again, I don't know, like I said, that's something
It's a
that,
big collection system for anything that, you know, if somebody had argon gas and that's a pit, and that's where people die. So, really try not to have open pits.
Well, this isn't a pit like
Yeah.
the mechanical pit.
no.
He's talking, it's
It's
like,
a great.
it's like a.
Imagine a floor drain, a graded floor drain.
Right,
But there's no hole for the water to drain.
Structure underneath the slab.
right.
Yeah, there's just no hole for the water to drain anywhere, so you don't have to deal with the oil and water, because if there was oil in it, it's gonna sit there, and then you can clean it up.
Okay,
That's for Bergeron, probably we can talk to about.
Yeah.
yeah, we could get that, sure.
Yeah, I know he's gonna do that.
That's somebody that knows more than me that
Yeah,
can
exactly.
Yeah.
determine
You
that.
ready?
Okay,
So you got,
Okay, you gonna show the other?
So this is the initial drawing with a 50 by 60.
This is the apparatus
Yep.
building.
So one thing, and initially we had talked about doing a 40 by 40. And we had gone over the fact that, well, our largest truck right now is 37 feet long. And right now, this only leaves, and again, this back here is there so that we can have space for working on, say, the chainsaws, the forestry pumps, and house all the tools and everything we have for storage. It's also gonna be a mezzanine on top to have storage for the rest of our stuff. We have space for an air compressor, the SCBA compressor, the gear washer, an extra dryer, and also a gear room to keep all of the diesel fumes and all the other stuff that comes off the trucks in, not on our fire gear. The trucks each bay is 50 feet long. That's what the box outlines. But that only will leave 2 feet left behind the apparatus.
so you got,
Now we're at 65 feet. Every time we see this picture, it gets bigger.
That picture's not changed.
I got a price for a 60 by 50, Tyler, it did change.
so how many engines you gonna be putting in there? So you got engine one, pumper,
You have A1, car 1, engine 1, forestry 1, engine 2, and possibly a trailer if it's long enough, or short enough rather.
trailer.
The trailer,
Well,
the UTVs on
The
it, the boat.
UTV,
My trailer stays outside.
and you have
Are
to
you
clean-
hearing a beeping too, Chris?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you have to clean it off every time you wanna use it, right? Yeah, I'm just playing the devil's advocate here. We have a call in the middle of the night, and we've gotten 2 feet of snow. We have to use the UTV, we have to now clean off the trailer. Which will delay our response.
Tyler, don't wanna be. There's ways to hit the problems, basically, you can show the damn snow off the trailer when it snows.
Sure.
But but we gotta think of the
But-
taxpayer, we gotta think of the
Right.
taxpayers, okay? You're not in this town, you don't pay taxes, but we answer to the taxpayers,
I understand.
okay? So, putting the trailer, I mean, I got 3 trailers, I sit outside and I don't have no problem moving my trailers, and it takes me a minute.
we can always relocate, we're gonna take the chuck logs down anyway.
Right.
And those are, you know, so you can pick those up, 2 sections at a time, we talked about this and possibly just relocate a couple of them to park a trailer underneath.
Yeah.
And then it's undercover, I mean, it's already there, we got a rec 'em anyway, so
Yeah.
this is
I mean, we had a
really-
fourth bay, we already, that was why we shrunk it
I know.
down, because the trailers weren't being considered.
Well, you buy a container
And
too, like those containers back here.
Yeah, the trailers weren't being considered, he was just saying if there's room, a trailer could go there.
Oh, yeah, I understand, I just don't use that as a selling point.
No, I'm just saying,
Where's the ambulance sit?
first bay, very top. Got it.
And at station one will be,
The mini bumper.
so you got an extra bay there?
The antique.
Right now, the antique's in it, but the antique and the mini bumper are what's occupying the building right now.
Okay.
The pricing you got, Chris, was for 60, not 65?
Correct.
Do you see any problems with this?
I mean, as it sits, no, and I know that, you know, the proposal was for 60, but we're starting out undersized if we're going below this already.
I think 5 feet makes a big difference of.
I think it's gotta be 10-foot increments, right, Chris? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, anything, I'm just gonna speak to Lester, and obviously, the longer, it doesn't matter if it's steel, if it's brick, if it's not IBC, irritable bowel syndrome, that's not that. That's IBS. The poured in concrete, foam, whatever. Anything's obviously gonna cost more. For Lester, it runs, their trusses run 10 feet, so when you do a half, so you're adding in an extra one, whatever, so.
Either way.
That is extra cost, yes.
Don't cut our nose off to spite our face, that's all I'll tell you. We think you need it.
And
This
that's
is a
why,
one-shot deal, put the
So-
10 feet on.
that's why I was
You're
asking
saying-
how
Not the
much,
end of the world. We're already
They're
spending
in
X amount of
10-foot
dollars, we're not gonna
increments?
spend that much
Correct.
more.
So I talked to Morton as well. Morton starts at 18 feet and goes up, I believe.
Morton is a steel building.
They also do post frame.
Yeah, they do wood buildings, the Subaru building I did, that's a Morton building up in Conway.
And now they won't give me a physical price, cause they wanna know if it's going out to bid or if it's being a design built or whatever, I didn't have the answer for them for that. But he gave me a rough number on square footage, which was between $175 and $200 a square foot, all in, not including site work. So that's mechanical to electrical, plumbing, everything. Insulation, interior finishes, everything.
So based on the total square footage, what did it come out to?
So it depends on what our square footage is, and I also have, well, thing is, now we have to consider what size the trusses are. And they are just like Morton, they have already pre-built truss sizes. And I believe, and this was a very brief conversation I had with him today, I think it was 8-foot spans. It was either 48 or 54 was where they were, and then it went up, I wanna say 8 feet, or maybe it was 6 feet. Is how their trusses go.
In length, 6-foot increments,
6 or 8?
48 and then 54,
you
so I'm
start
gonna
hitting
say
a big
6.
truss, then you're gonna be setting a piggyback, you just remember that.
So, that's also another option. I said I would air it to us.
So at least with this, if you can come up with something that we agree upon, you get an option, it can price a couple of different type of steel buildings, and it can price a Morton or a Lester wood frame, wood truss style building. And see where it shakes out.
I talked, I
What'd
believe
you get,
it's,
I mean, with just this, it's 568,000, so you know. You look at 600. Round it off.
It's a big difference.
Well, he said that includes,
Everything.
Oh, right,
that's
yeah.
everything
except for door work.
except for site
Right.
work.
Right,
I will have to confirm or figure out if that actually includes the slab. I don't know for a fact if it does or does not. So I would say 60, 70 grand for a slab.
probably a little less than that, but, so, the Morton building that I worked on for the Subaru garage at Conway, it was back when I was with Coleman, so that's 40 years ago. Those posts those posts are just set down in the dirt on a concrete pad, there's no foundation for them.
Mhm.
And it's just a slab that's insulated. I.e. with a Lester building, you're gonna have frost walls, a concrete slab, steel structure, you're gonna have frost walls. The pilasters with steel and bolt locations for all the verticals. So, a little bit different.
What do the wind strength ratings look like on a Morton?
I
Hearing
couldn't
you
tell
say
you
that,
without,
just-
yeah, no, you
So-
can't pull that out of the, hey,
All we need.
But everything has to be built to, we're in a 90-pound ground snow load area down in Effingham. So we have building codes that we have to follow as far as wind loading, dead load, live load, that type of stuff.
I believe on the Lester building, it gives those specs
Yeah,
in there.
they've got all that information, it seems correct.
So
I know the ground snow load is correct.
we need to finalize the size, square,
Yeah, there's the part.
width and length. And then probably can start going out to quotes.
Then you
Yeah.
can make a few phone calls.
Right. So you should do
And then
that.
shake that out
Okay.
and
Should get it.
compare what the difference is. I mean, like Chris shows a picture of the Lester building, it's all nice, it's all steel on the inside, but I'm looking at it's all unfaced insulation behind that. That doesn't throw me a whole lot. Steel structure, it's all wrapped in vinyl. I mean, I drive by the one in Guilford at least once a week, and I've been watching them build that fire station.
Oh, yeah, that one, yeah.
Yeah, they got the steel roofing on now, but they were laying all the first layer of insulation over all the purlins that are, your cross purlins, they're screwing the metal decking down to that, and they'll come underneath and insulate up again for a double layer of insulation.
That's for the highway department.
Yeah, that's for that big structure right there in Guilford.
You said fire department.
What's it? The
That's,
highway
It's the highway
department?
department. Public Works building.
Huge building,
Yeah, Public Works building.
big double set of
I
buildings.
mean, as far as the size is concerned, I think my position as the fire chief is to tell you what I need. But at the end of the day, it's a committee. So obviously,
You feel comfortable with this one?
I feel comfortable with that. I don't feel comfortable going down to the 50. I think it's just gonna cut too much off. There's gonna be no space in the back at all at that point.
Well, it'll be down to 60.
I'm sorry, 60. I
Yeah.
said 50, I meant 60.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
apologize.
Let's do it, 50.
Like I said, at the end of the day, this is a committee, so,
Well, believe it or not, it would be, again, I'm just gonna speak for the one I got price for, cause I get prices for anything else. It would be cheaper to go 50 by 70 than 50 by 65.
And that's okay.
I'm not proposing bigger, cause you can have.
I'm just saying.
Will there be enough room?
Because you're
what's
still
that-
paying for that trust, but you're paying for that extra work and stuff like that.
Right.
So for them, because it's 10 foot, whatever.
Depending on the construction, it's no
And
problem.
I've said a couple times, the rooms in the back, not all of that has to be on the initial build out. So if we're getting down to crunching numbers and we can't afford to do all of that interior work and close
Do it
those
later.
rooms off right away, that can be future expansion, small pieces of that can be done each year. Internal labor, stuff like that. So that's another factor, as long as the space exists, some of that we can do later. I mean, obviously, the SCBA compressor and stuff like that, that needs to be somewhere safe. We need some form of a gear room. Does it need to be finished off inside completely right off the bat? Not necessarily. But that's a consideration as far as the
You
cost.
need a mechanical room anyway. So somewhere wherever your air compressor is, that's where your boiler, if there's a radiant system, it'll be a gas fired wall mount boiler.
Right.
There'll be the electrical entrance system, your panel will be right there. The alarm panel, everything will be in that one of those back rooms someplace where all your power comes in. So you need to build that space out regardless.
Right. But not necessarily,
It doesn't have to
totality.
be elaborate, no, you just get that much taken care of,
yeah.
and the rest of it is, have a couple bake sales. Works for the preservation building,
The options are there as long as the space is there.
works for the church.
Anyone have any comments on the size?
I'm just more worried about all the stuff we have to have, is it gonna fit inside? Not, I wanna add 5 more fire trucks, like the stuff we have today, can we fit it in 3 bays? It's really expensive, and I don't like the thought of it sitting outside.
Yeah, and our apparatus, yes, 100%, the apparatus is going to fit in that. I mean, obviously.
And I know
the
we had
dimensions are
talked a
there.
little bit about that new mini pumper can fit in station 1, so that with that low building height, that's not an issue. for that?
The mini pumper will fit, but the truck we're borrowing will
Will
also
not.
fit,
Oh, it will.
with some minor modifications.
So are we gonna keep that one and get rid of something else? 'Cause I know we have one out being refurbished, so maybe that's a whole different discussion.
Yeah, that's why we have the loaner right
That's a
now,
different
but.
Yeah, that's,
Okay,
I mean, like the old fire truck, we can buy a container and drop it in there.
true.
The antique?
Or you can use the one back here.
there
you go.
I don't think it's long enough, is it?
I put my CJs in it.
I don't know.
It should, it
Width-wise,
very well could be long
Width-wise,
enough,
but yeah,
very well could be long enough,
I
right
think
now,
so.
it's gonna be a pain to get it up there.
Paint.
Semantics. One thing I will say with these, and I put it up at the very top, the height of the walls, I was saying 16 foot. The doors, I said 14 foot tall. The reason I say that, and as well as you know, anything going down the road has to be 13.6 or smaller without a permit.
that Lester quote was 16-foot walls, 14-foot doors.
I
Openings, 14-foot openings, sorry.
The reason I say that, I mean, just so everyone's well aware, it leaves us the ability to purchase a stock unit from a fire manufacturer if we at some point in time in the future do. Because when you go for shorter, you end up having to custom spec a truck and that ends up costing you, instead of costing you another 10 grand here, it'll cost you another 60 grand down the road.
I understand that.
We've had that conversation.
Right.
That's no problem.
Is there any other discussion on 70 by 50, 65 by 50?
So if it did go to a steel building, your pilasters are inbound. So then you lose a foot on, every time we column, it's about 12 inches of projection.
There's 70.
So I guess what we need to know is your cleared inside space has to be what? What's the width? Your clear inside width. Is that 50 feet?
So inside,
Yes.
Inside, yeah.
inside leaves us from the truck bays.
What do you need clear on the interior? Wall to wall?
50 feet, that's what you have right
50
there.
feet, okay.
Well, that's the exterior wall.
that's exterior to exterior.
But that would be, yeah.
And then
What
you
did
just,
you lose, like, a total of a foot or so?
if we lose a foot, foot and a half, we would be fine for the apparatus because of the fact that there's 4 feet on either side of the bays.
3 and 3,
So to answer this question, 48 feet,
right.
no less.
No less than I would say 48.
Okay, that's all I'm asking. Cause for a steel building, you gotta think about, the inside, cause every time those pilasters are inbound, they're not outbound to the frost wall. And your columns are inbound as well, your verticals.
That's a 70 foot with the long wall. We were just talking about if we increase from 65 to 70.
Whatever, depending on the manufacturer, whoever you choose.
Yeah,
Do we wanna vote on a no less than?
Correct.
okay. No less than what?
65.
65
By,
by
50?
50.
I think I've got parameters enough to be able to call a steel building company up and say what works. There's a building, I gotta find out, I know Seacoast did it. Just beyond the Indian Mountain Golf Course on Route 16 on the right-hand side, I think the guy's got a metal fab shop in there.
Mighty Bite? Mighty Bite? Where'd you say?
Just north of the golf course.
Mighty Bite. Oh, no, that's a Lester,
No, it's not a Lester building.
Josh did it.
No, he didn't. Seacoast Crane built that building.
Right across from Woods Boat Show?
No, not across the
No.
boat shop.
You're
North
looking
on
at-
16 beyond the golf course. You
You're-
go
When
over
he put
the
all
Lovell
those next to the
River,
gas station.
up the hill.
Oh,
It's,
okay.
gosh,
And that old barn sat there on the right-hand side before the gas station, before Deer Cove Road.
Goshes or whatever.
Yeah, he's got a metal
Yeah.
fab shop.
Whatever it is. He lives over on Maple Street.
Okay, yeah, it's a nice structure. That was built by Seacoast Crane.
Yeah.
I've worked with them a couple times. I just don't know the size of the building. I'm gonna find out what that size is. It's something you physically can look at for a size. And that's a good representation of that. The building's at least 50 feet wide, I believe. Pretty good size.
Before we have another meeting, I can get all the dimensions and how much it cost. He does all the work for the town of Boston.
Oh, yeah, I'll swing in and see him, find out.
So do we wanna take a vote on no less than 65 by 50, or do we wanna wait until we have more information at the next meeting?
No, you can take the vote, whatever.
Take the vote.
Take a vote,
yeah.
okay, I'll entertain a motion,
Motion made.
okay, by Tyler,
Second,
second by
Then we have
Chris,
pattern,
yes,
we got card going.
discussion? All in favor,
Alright,
aye,
opposed? Okay, passes,
I think it's the alarm panel. The burglar alarm panel.
okay,
Where is the panel? In the back room?
No, it's
No,
right
it's-
inside the door.
Cause
talking
I
about the-
stuck my ear into that door and I can't.
Really?
You go outside of this room and you really can't hear it.
it's not outside.
No,
Nope,
it's
did
in
that too.
okay, is there
You heard
anything
it,
else that we need to discuss or go over? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn,
Make it.
okay,
Motion to adjourn.
Tyler,
I'm good to me.
second.
All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye,
Who
aye.
seconded that? 7:16, we're adjourning.
Got it?